You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie to me. Hello, and welcome to Late to School, a Flip Flappers Watchcast. I'm Lorena.
And I'm Zach.
And today, we're going to be talking about one episode.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to talk about this episode, which may not be apparent immediately.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if it's apparent to me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you were saying to our audience.
It might not be apparent to them either. But let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I will save the explanations for what's going on for after we finish summarizing it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you mean by that, but okay.
Okay. This is episode 5, Pure Echo, which first aired November 3rd, 2016. It was directed, like all the episodes up till now, Kiyotaka Oshiyama, and written by Yuniko Ayana.
Okay.
And the episode starts with a creepy shot of a clock tower.
Yes.
That begins to toll.
Mm-hmm. It's striking midnight, as clocks are wont to do in fiction. And it's a very red clock tower.
Yeah, it's got like I think the face of the clock is red or something like that.
And I think I can't remember if we can see this at this point, but I think the 12 on the face of the clock is like blacked out.
Okay.
Basically.
Meanwhile,
yeah, at Flip Flap, this does not take place immediately after the last episode. I am maintaining that for
No, that's
sure.
Absolutely true.
Okay.
This episode makes that clear.
Okay. They're in the, like, locker room, service room.
Yeah, which is also where they put the servers, and that seems like a bad idea to me.
I think I said service room reading server room, and thought that I don't know what my brain... I'm very tired right now for some reason. They're in the locker room / server room.
And Papika just drops a big old bag of shit.
Mostly shells and other ephemera. And just starts to rummage through it. And pulls out like a little shell necklace.
Or a bracelet.
Yeah, it's a bracelet, yeah. And a stick. And shouts, "I want these!"
And then Dr. Hidaka is like, "Don't be greedy. I told you can only have one." And then Sayuri arrives and asks Kokona if she has something.
If she brought something. And Kokona says that she brought Yuxkuel.
Yeah.
Who we see in a little box.
And then Dr. Hidaka chastises her for that.
He just yells, "He'll die!" Which is...
and then he says that he's said to bring a treasure. That means inanimate. Fuck you, Hidaka. Yuxkuel is and always will be a treasure.
Yes. Also, Yuxkuel has been to Pure Illusion before, so...
Yeah, that was... Maybe that's because it was his Pure Illusion?
I don't know.
It was...
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if... Can Pure Illusion belong to people, you know? Or bunnies?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Kokona is like, well, I don't have anything else. I don't have any other treasures. And Papika tries to give her the stick.
Uh-huh.
And Kokona is like, that's a stick, no.
But Papika says, but look, it's super straight and really smooth. Which
like,
is
no one else here.
I was gonna say that's just a very cute line. It's a very it's an accurate like kid line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like this is how kids, especially kids like Papika, talk.
Hidaka then goes on a weird tangent.
Yeah.
And asks if the stick is a wand.
Uh-huh.
And says that it's just about the right length. Hidaka has a lot of weird pauses because of lip syncing in this episode.
Yeah.
Slightly later,
Hidaka
and Sayuri are at the workstation.
Yeah, the big monitors and such.
As well as Yuxkyul, who is in a coffee cup.
His fat is just spilling out because it's too small for him. He's so good.
Hidaka explains to the girls their impedances are starting to match, but they still have work to do.
Right.
And he then says that you can bet those other guys are on point by now. They're just made differently from us.
Yeah, that's a weird line.
To which Kokona responds, made differently? But then does not get to consider that further, as Sayuri tells them to be careful in case the other crew shows up again. And Kokona then says that they've already stolen 3 shards. And we see a montage of 2 other adventures, not 3.
I guess, well, they stole the one from...
oh, right, you're right.
Desert, right?
Yeah. Which, is proof that this does not take place immediately after the last episode.
Right. Also, the fact that it's not in Pure Illusion.
Yes.
And the last time we saw them, they were falling into Pure Illusion.
They get to the Thomason. And Sayuri says that it looks like the others can open holes into Pure Illusion. They can, target them. And Kokona and Papika aren't into that.
And Hidaka is like, exactly!
Yeah! They really should have tried rewriting the dialogue to match the lip syncing here. I don't know.
Gotta translate as literally as possible.
That's not what happens in this show, though. There are a lot of non-literal translations. Sayuri tells them that all they need are transformation items.
And then says, voila, you're flip-flapping.
And Papika is like, so we just flip-flap. And Sayuri corrects her that it's flip-flapping. And those are the magic words.
Yeah. So apparently they needed the treasure to transform.
Yeah. It's like the transformation pens from Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Except just random junk they like.
Yeah.
Thomason closes. Papika reaches down and assures Kokona that they won't lose this time. And then they're in a spooky school.
Yep. We see Kokona get transported into a spooky school. Yeah, it's like...
It's raining outside.
What's your first thought when you think of a spooky school in an anime?
A spooky Japanese school.
That's what is happening.
I love the video game White Day.
I love... forget the name of the video game.
You should keep that pause in, including the car that passed by. I love Corpse Party.
How would you know so many of these? There's probably a Fatal Frame that takes place in a school, right?
Oh, most definitely.
There's that one game that's like Fatal Frame, but it's like, and it is in a school, I'm pretty sure, but it's like your phone.
Oh, Dreadout?
Dreadout, that's the name of it.
Yeah.
The big pig?
Yeah, It's the only thing I know about Dreadout.
Is that
anyway,
the big pig?
Kokona's alone by the shoe lockers. She calls out.
She calls out for Papika.
And then has a horror movie turn.
Yeah, to a shape that we see sort of undulating behind her, which...
is Papika.
Yeah, it's Papika on the floor.
Rubbing her face on the cold ground.
Because it's so cool. The cold floor. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
She's not rubbing her face on the ground.
No.
Just the floor, the tiled floor, which feels worse.
In the shoe locker area, which I'm sure is kept pristine. Flash of lightning.
Yep.
Because it's a horror thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a shadowed figure standing behind Coconut.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, horror movie turn. Coconut is like, hey, who's there? And then the lightning strikes again, and we see that it is Yayaka.
Yeah.
Who has put her hair into braids, and
also the dye of her hair is not visible, and everybody in this show has basically the same face, so I didn't realize it was Yayaka until later.
Well, she then speaks.
That's fair. I also don't recognize character voices very well.
Okay. She says, well, hello there.
Yeah. And then the opening.
Which I wanna say, in the Japanese dialogue, they use a very specific word. Yayaka and some later characters use a very specific word, which is basically like the most highfalutin, fancy way to say hello to someone. I forgot to write down what the word is specifically, but worth keeping that in mind.
And then we get the title sequence.
And then we come back to the episode proper. Coconut asks why Yayaka is wearing this, like, private school uniform.
Yeah. And then she just huffs and
walks away.
She kind of runs off, I think.
She power walks.
Yeah. She does a light jog. The others try to sort of chase after her, but when they get sort of past all the lockers and stuff, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's very fast. Also, dubiously can teleport, so...
Yeah. They start walking through the halls. Coconut wonders if this is their school.
It does look a lot like it, certainly.
I mean, middle schools tend to look the same.
That's fair. Papika keeps just yelling for Yayaka, and Coconut is like, shh, shh, shh.
And she puts a hand over her mouth.
Yeah.
And Papika tries to speak. She's like, something. And Coconut takes her hand off. Is here. And Coconut asks, who's here? But Papika doesn't have time for that, because she notices that Boo is gone.
Yeah.
They start looking for Boo.
Good.
He's not around. Yeah, God, I wish. Coconut sort of checks in a room. I think it's like an art room or something. And she closes the door behind her, not having found Boo. And she wonders where he could have gone, and then notices that Papika is also gone.
Yep.
She calls out to her, and there's creepy giggling from down the hall. And once again, who's there? But no one answers. And then there's a hand on her shoulder. And she scram.
Yep. Which is fair. A valid reaction. And she turns all black and white like anime characters do when scared.
But it's just Papika.
So she's done that twice now.
Papika is like, hey, what's up? I found you. And Coconut tells her not to do that. She says, seriously, don't do that. My heart will explode.
And Papika is like, what do you mean your heart?
Another translation thing worth noting here is that in Japanese, she specifically says that, like, her heart is going doki doki. Which is important, I promise you.
I mean, I feel like it is. But yeah, Coconut, they are freaked out by this school. Or at least Coconut is.
Yeah. Papika is, as always, nonplussed.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, there's something fucking weird going on. And then they hear more creepy giggling. And Papika is like, oh, noise. Must interact.
I'm a dog. I have to chase this noise.
Baby brain says, follow sound. Follow stimulation. And Coconut is like, okay.
I think she's like, don't leave me behind.
But, hesitantly follows. And they find the source of the giggling behind a door. And Papika throws open the door. And it's coming from a group of schoolgirls.
Yeah.
That are sat around a few tables in this room and knitting.
Knitting, or I don't know the right, like, you know when you have
embroidery.
Is it embroidery? When you have the round things and you, like, knit, you, like, make a picture?
Yeah, I think that's embroidery.
Okay.
They're embroidering?
They're embroidering.
Embroidering?
Coconut says hello, and the girls turn, and... Do you want to try it?
Yeah, sure. I can try to... They say... Sorry.
I can't leave all that coughing in.
Greetings to all.
They're a lot less evil than that, but they sound. You sounded angry, whereas they sound polite but awful.
Okay.
I'm not criticizing you. It's very hard to do.
Okay.
And they turn and they have horrifying. Their faces aren't there. Their faces are just black, like, sketch circles.
Where they would have eyes and a mouth, they instead have sketch circles. Which is a fun aesthetic that I love, and is very creepy.
And Coconut and Paprika scrim.
Yeah, which is fair, and turn black and white.
Paprika, like, thrusts her hand into the air, which has the shell bracelet around it. And she shouts, transform. But nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because she's immediately forgotten everything Sayuri said. Coconut tries to remind her, but then is like, oh, Paprika, hey, turn around. And one of the girls has gotten very close. And greetings to all.
No,
that's not it. That's definitely not it.
Let me take a second pass.
Here's the fun thing is we have post-processing.
That's true.
We could edit our voices to sound like this. I don't know how, but...
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Late to School. Greetings to all.
And they scram and run away.
Yeah. Can we start every episode with greetings to all?
No.
Not in that voice, just...
Paprika tries to, like, force the front door of the school open, but it just is not budging. And they just run off to look for another exit.
And Paprika keeps trying to transform, and is like, flip-flap!
Frickin' flip-flap!
Friggin' flapping!
I think the camera movements during this sequence are also, like, really shaky.
Yeah, it's got a shaky cam. Yeah. Welcome to the horror episode. The Halloween special of flip-floppers.
They run up the stairs, but find that one of the landings is just a fucking black void.
Yeah, it's covered in malice from Breath of the Wild.
And the creepy giggling is getting closer and closer. So Paprika climbs over the banister, because it's not all the stairs, it's just the landing.
It's just the landing, yeah. And Coconut is very surprised by this proposal, but it goes extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, there's no sort of tension about them falling or anything.
Yeah, Paprika, like, reaches down and grabs Coconut's hand, and they climb up the stairs. They find the exit. They run out into the familiar quad, which is immediately replaced with just a fucking torrential field.
Yep. Just completely flat.
Yeah. And it's raining.
Still has the clock tower,
but now
in the
it's distance.
The red one from earlier.
And Paprika runs ahead and lifts her hand to transform. She starts to say the magic words. But she doesn't get to finish.
No.
Coconut catches up to her and is like, hey, no, it's flip-flapping. And then she notices that Paprika isn't moving anymore.
No.
And we see Paprika from the front, and she is covered in blood.
Yep.
And she just quietly is like, Coconut, and then she falls over. And then Coconut is also covered in blood. And she also tries to call out to Paprika, and then collapses as well.
This rain is just really sharp.
Then Coconut wakes up in the bath.
Yeah, more mood whiplash.
I mean, that's intentional.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just, describing it.
Okay. And she sees that Paprika is just sort of lounging on the other side.
Paprika loves a warm bath.
She tries to shake Paprika, but Papika's having too much fun in this warm bath, and honestly, mood.
Yeah.
And then there's giggling again.
Mm-hmm.
And Kokona screams because the schoolgirls are here.
Yep, they come behind this little, like, curtain that is surrounding the tub.
And that wakes Papika up. Mm-hmm. The schoolgirls, once again, greetings to all. Mm-hmm. And they shove a towel at them.
So yeah, they're fine.
Uh-huh.
They're friendly. Turns out they're alright. They thrust a towel at them and also some school uniforms.
Yeah.
Which are not their school uniforms.
No,
they're different. They're like the one that Yayako was wearing, though.
Mm-hmm. And also the ones the schoolgirls are wearing.
Yeah. And Kokona's like, where are our uniforms? Mm-hmm. But then we cut, and they have changed into the new uniforms.
And Papika's really into it.
Yeah.
And she also wishes greetings to all.
Uh-huh.
In a much less creepy way.
Yes. But the schoolgirls are very appreciative of this. They clap. They clap
rapid fire. One of them sort of steps up to Kokona and adjusts her, like, belt.
Yeah.
And Kokona is like, hey, thanks. And then Boo is here.
Yeah.
And he's got a bow on.
And I think he's also got a skirt.
He might have a skirt,
to the back of him.
And his eye... I wrote in my notes, his eye is lesbian.
Yes.
By which I mean his eye is two sort of interlocking Venus symbols.
Yes.
Which
means he's about to cast Crescent Moon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, And then immediately cut to Kokona staring out a window, alone. And she wonders if this building was always here. And then Papika's here, and interrupts her. And grabs her hand and is like, okay, we gotta go. Let's go. And they step it over, it's not a threshold, but that is the only way to describe it.
Yeah. It is I think it is like it's a part of one hallway that leads into another hallway.
Yeah,
And the screen, as they step over it, the screen, like, freezes and flashes.
Mm-hmm. It, like, inverts.
Yeah. And then they continue on.
And we see Yayako watching them. And then we cut to, like, a montage of them doing various fancy private school activities.
Yeah.
Like, they don't play the piano, but they do attend piano lessons, it seems.
Okay. That's fair, you know?
They study in the library. I think Papika is reading, like, a children's encyclopedia.
Yes, she is. Yes.
They do tea ceremonies. They embroider.
They love the fucking sweet cookies.
The cookies are really sweet, and so is the tea. When they're embroidering, Kokona pricks her finger. And Papika's like, oh, are you okay? And immediately grabs her finger and starts to suck on it to make it better. Kokona is caught extremely off guard by this, and is like, I'm okay.
I want to point out, you mentioned something earlier, which is that you were, for some reason, looking at the TV Tropes article for Flip-Flappers.
I was trying to find the characters' birthdays, but to no avail.
And you mentioned a specific trope.
The first two tropes on her page.
The first two tropes on Kokona's page are ambiguously gay and badass gay. Which, she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But ambiguously.
Ambiguously. We just don't know. And then cut to Kokona and Papika getting ready for bed in a dorm that they have now.
Yeah. The schoolgirls have just given them a dorm.
And they're in, like, long, frilly nightgowns. Papika says she had a lot of fun. And Kokona is like, yeah, me too. And says that all the schoolgirls were really kind.
Yeah.
She then spots a creepy doll.
Yeah.
On a dresser.
This doll is so good. This doll is the fucking best.
Yeah.
I love this doll. It's creepier than all of the, like, dolls in the Creepy Doll episode of Sailor Moon combined.
Yes. And Kokona doesn't like this doll. So she walks over and turns the doll so that it's facing the wall.
If I were in the same room as this doll, I would not turn it to face the wall. Particularly because she turns it and it faces a mirror.
Yeah.
So it's still looking at you.
Yeah.
I would fucking shove that shit in a cupboard.
Yes.
Yeah, if that. I would shove that shit in a cupboard and then open the window and throw the cupboard out the window.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would not be in the same room as this doll in any capacity.
Yeah.
Then Coconut goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Papika tells her it's bedtime. The next day...
They're on, like, a bunk bed.
Yeah, they have bunk beds.
I think Papika is on the top bunk. I think Coconut is on the bottom bunk, and Papika is on the top one.
Okay. Next day, Papika and Coconut get dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Papika's like, hey, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do today? And Coconut is like, we gotta find the shard, right? We need to look for it. Boo is also here. Yeah. And he is upset by something off screen.
Uh-huh.
And the girls turn to look, and the doll's moved.
Yeah, it's looking right back at them again.
But before they can really interrogate that, there's a knock at the door, and greetings to all.
Greetings to all.
And then we basically get the same montage again.
Yeah,
they go through the same day.
Uh-huh. They, to a suspiciously similar degree,
mm-hmm.
one might say.
Coconut pricks her finger, Papika sucks on it. Coconut is like, hey, I'm fine.
It has some slight differences.
Yeah.
Coconut is more blushy in this one. Also, I think they say during the tea ceremony, their lines are like in a different order this time.
Yeah, Coconut turns the doll around. They go to bed. Next morning, Coconut says they have to look for the shard. Greetings to all.
Greetings to all.
And then cut to night again, the next day.
I think we go through the montage again.
Yeah.
As, again, like, they say the thing about the tea being sweet at the same time this time. And Papika sucks on Coconut's finger again. But Coconut's kind of fine with it now.
Coconut is staring out the window panting?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't remember,
But Papika grabs her hand and says, it's gonna be okay. And then they go to bed in the same bed.
Yeah.
Holding hands, but at a chaste distance.
This, very Utna vibes.
Yes.
If this bed was two beds...
And they were facing different directions.
Oh god, I forgot what Utna was like. That fucking bed thing.
Papika asks what they should do tomorrow, and Coconut is like, embroidery. And then Coconut is like, the rain isn't letting up, huh? And Papika says, well, I like it. And Coconut is like, yeah, it's good. And then they wish each other good night and go to sleep. And then Coconut is awakened.
Yep.
By a thumping noise. And a hand covering her mouth. And Yayaka is here. And
tells her to be quiet.
We like, see Papika sleeping on the floor.
Which, I love, I mean, the thumping suggests that Yayaka just rolled Papika off the bed.
Yeah.
So that she could reach Coconut. Which I adore.
And then we cut to Yayaka and Coconut are in the hallway. Coconut is like, hey, are you alone? What happened to those other two you were with? Those weird twins? And Yayaka is just like, no, what is this, an interrogation?
Which is a fucking wild thing to say.
I mean, that's her personality.
Yeah.
And Coconut's like, I'm just worried. And then Yayaka, as she is wont to do, calls Coconut naive. And then approaches her menacingly. And sort of pushes her against a wall. And leans in very close. And she asks Coconut if she understands what's happening. And explains that this world is in a constant loop.
Yep. It's a weird semi-Groundhog Day situation.
And
except nobody is aware of it except this character.
Yeah. While Yayaka is, like, explaining this, Coconut, like, closes her eyes and blushes slightly and is, like, pursing her lips. Like she expects Yayaka to kiss her.
Ambiguous.
Yeah. But Yayaka smacks her on the forehead and asks why she's being so dumb. And Coconut is like, I'm not dumb. And Yayaka then says that she's acting like this because of pure illusion. And she says that you're influenced by the nature of this world by the moment you step into it. You've seen it before, haven't you? And we see, like, a flashback to Coconut wearing the mask in episode 3. And Coconut turning into a bunny girl in episode 2.
So we see the times that pure illusion has really got to her.
And Coconut is like, so this world was designed this way on purpose? And then asks Yayaka why she isn't affected. And Yayaka, with great importance, says, I'm different from you, Kokona. And then Yayaka asks Kokona why she and Papika are even collecting shards to begin with.
Mm-hmm. The amorphous.
The amorphous. And Kokona is like, well, Papika can't come to Pure Illusion without me. And sometimes I have fun.
Uh-huh.
And Yayaka just laughs at that.
Mm-hmm.
Then she leans in again and tells Kokona that Pure Illusion isn't a place for fun and games.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bell starts to toll, and Yayaka starts to walk away, and she tells Kokona to get home before the bell stops ringing, and then runs off. And Kokona tries to call out to her, but she keeps walking, and then says, Kokona, you're afraid of failure, aren't you? And then Kokona wakes up the next morning.
Yep. I don't know what that line had to do with any of their conversation, but, you know.
Yeah, not that conversation.
What conversation?
I think it's just Yayaka sort of... I don't know. She's just reading Kokona.
Okay. I don't know what failure she's referring to in this specific
instance. We'll get to it.
Okay. But yeah, Kokona wakes up, and she sees that her and Papika's actual school uniforms are draped over a chair in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to shake Papika awake. I can't remember if she's still on the floor or not.
I think Papika's in the bed now, somehow.
Okay. Well, it's the loop, probably.
Yeah.
And tries to explain that they need to get the shard and get out. And Papika protests that it's raining outside, which is a fantastic protest for that.
Yeah.
And Kokona explains what Yayaka said. And
Papika is just like, Yayaka!
Yeah, her fucking hackles raise.
But before they can really continue that conversation, it's greetings to all time.
Yep. The girl things are here.
They go through the loop again. This time Kokona doesn't drink the tea.
Yeah, it tells Papika not to swallow anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we see the embroidery scene this time.
No, I don't think we do. And then, that night, Kokona tries to get Papika to go with her, but Papika is just, trying to drag Kokona to sleep.
But when Kokona mentions the shard, it snaps Papika out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, oh yeah! We're here for a thing, huh?
Mm-hmm. But Boo overhears this.
Yes.
And he begins to approach them with his arms outstretched.
And his eye has become a black sketch mark thing. And he says, greetings to all.
And then Kokona and Papika have gotten dressed and are going through the halls. And Kokona asks if it's okay to leave Boo behind. To which Papika responds that they don't know how to fix him. And we see that Boo has been tied up.
Yep.
I forgot to mention, there are a lot of lilies in this episode that we see.
There are.
Boo also has a lily, on him.
Yeah. That's also interesting to me because I know a thing now that you taught me before off screen. Which is that lilies, the word for lily in Japanese is Yuri. Which is where the Yuri genre of, girls love anime gets its name.
Yep.
So it's just the fucking lesbian flower.
Boo's been tied up.
Yep.
And
they fucking wrapped him up in his own limbs. It's great.
And they start walking down the hall, counting the doors as they pass them. Kokona shushes Papika from counting out loud, reminding her that the schoolgirls are going to find them if they're too loud.
And Kokona checks her watch, and notices that the hands aren't moving.
Yep.
And the 12 has been replaced with a black spot.
Yeah. They reach the 11th door. But there's no 12.
Yep.
Just a dead end. Papika starts to sniff the wall.
Yes.
The dead end.
They're about to leave, but Papika's like, hang on. My weirdo senses are tingling. And starts to sniff.
And she sniffs a draft.
Yeah.
And then she knocks on the wall and it's hollow. And then the bell starts chiming.
Yep.
And Kokona's like, oh shit, Yayaka said we have to leave before 12. and they start sort of rushing to find a way to open the wall, and the schoolgirls are looming in a way that is incredibly creepy. They're like all poking their heads out of the doors down the hallway.
And there's a lot of them.
And before they can figure out, the schoolgirls approach en masse and surround them.
It's such a cool shot.
It's hard to describe.
Like, we see them, the schoolgirls, like, rapidly moving, like rapidly inching, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, they make very fast bounds at very long distances, but then stop suddenly. And it's such a good, like, it's a great effect. And then at the last moment, at the, like, 11th chime of the bell, some of them are just in front of Coconut and Paprika now. It's such a good shot.
It's really good. And then Paprika and Coconut wake up the next morning.
Yep.
And then we just immediately cut to that night as they rush toward the dead end. And Paprika tells Coconut that the bell only rung 11 times. And Coconut is like, that must be the deadline.
Yeah. When the 11th chime happens, the day ends and loops.
And the moon falls. And they get to the dead end, and they are trying to find any way to open it.
And the schoolgirls are approaching again in a fucking wave.
I think the camera is a lot more, like, erratic this time. But they manage to find a way to open the door, and it like, twists around, fucking Scooby-Doo style.
Yep.
And they fall into the adjacent room. And the geometry is not
it's
not
sorta,
happening.
You know, in Mario Kart 8, in Luigi's Mansion, how the sort of dining room area sort of twists.
Yeah,
it's like that.
Okay. The schoolgirls are banging at the doors trying to get in, and Coconut and Paprika just run. They run through the halls. They see the clock tower through the windows for the first time.
Yeah.
And Coconut says that they need to get to it, like, figuring out that, well, we couldn't see it before, so it must be important.
This is what they were hiding behind this hidden 12 door.
Meanwhile, Boo has freed himself.
Yeah.
And is wandering through the halls and runs into the twins, who are also wearing the school uniforms.
Yeah, which is interesting for me. Also, his eye turns into a mixed Venus and Mars symbol. I guess because he's recognizing, oh, that is a boy and a girl. There's a boy and a girl here now. I don't know what fucking Boo's eye is supposed to tell us at any given moment.
Yeah,
I do remember, I wanted to mention earlier, I forgot, in the library scenes, we see Boo and his eye just says read.
Great. Coconut and Paprika find Yayaka, who is changed into her battle gear.
Yeah, her like, black suit.
Yeah. The twins also arrive and are not in the school uniforms. I don't know what the point of that shot was.
Yeah, I don't know what's up there.
And they tell Yayaka that they're out of time, and then they walk off together and tell Coconut and Paprika not to follow them. But why would you listen to that?
I think Paprika is like hell we won't!
And they get to the clock tower and enter it, and it's just a bunch of gears and stairs in a void.
You know, in Mario Kart 8...
God damn it.
The level tick-tock clock.
Why would you reference... Okay, I mean, you don't like Mario 64, so that's fair.
Also, it's... Tick-tock clock in Mario 64 is just a bunch of dumb platforms and shit, whereas in Mario Kart 8, at least it's a big mess of gears and shit.
I guess.
There are gears in the Mario Kart 64 version, but anyway.
Yayaka and her crew start to climb the clock tower, and they're having a much easier time than Coconut and Paprika.
Yeah, they're climbing these floating stairs. Maybe it is like Mario Kart 60.
Yeah.
Mario Kart? Mario 64. Because there's just some floating fucking platforms.
Paprika screams at them to wait, and as Yayaka is trying to grapple hook away, she grabs onto her, like, tail? I don't know what that is.
Her belt.
Tail.
It's like the bit of the belt that comes out.
Mm-hmm. And Yayaka tries to, like, shake her off, and then just, like, kicks her square in the stomach.
Uh-huh.
And Papika, like, freezes in the air,
mm-hmm.
and lifts her hand, and it's time for flip-flapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I lied. The transformation sequence shows up again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Every other part of it is so good.
Yeah.
Except for those shots.
Yayaka leaps away, and Papika follows, now
Papika
transformed.
Is now in pure blade?
No,
mode?
barrier.
Barrier. That isn't her real name, but fucking whatever. That's what I'm gonna call her.
Right. Kokona is, like, holding for dear life onto a gear and watches them go. And then she holds out her stick and tries to transform, but it doesn't. She doesn't do it. The twins are... They say they're getting close, but it doesn't look like it. And then they're nearly crushed by... something?
A thwomp, obviously.
A thwomp nearly crushes them, but...
It's like a big tube.
The boy leaps away.
It's a weight.
I guess.
For the swingy bit.
Oh, okay.
Like the pendulum.
Sure. Boy leaps away, and girl blocks it with her big arm.
Can't wait till we learn these fucking characters' names.
And then they spot Yayaka fighting, and the boy tries to tell her that they don't have time to play.
And Yayaka sort of snarks back at him while fighting Papika. Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's like all the fight scenes when they go into pure blade and pure barrier mode are fun.
Yayaka kicks Papika into a wall, and Kokona is like, oh no, and Papika sort of weakly sits up and is like, I'm fine. And Yayaka then
something happens.
Just sort of grins, or like chuckles at her handiwork, and then is grabbed by some evil hands.
Yeah. Just some hands that come up from below.
And they pull her down.
Some, like, reddish, goopy hands.
Kokona calls out to Yayaka and tries to grab her as she's falling, but slips and also falls.
Yep.
And they fall to the bottom and land in a bed of more evil hands.
Yeah, it's sort of a labyrinthian.
Labyrinthian?
Like Labyrinth.
Is that a thing in Labyrinth?
Like the film Labyrinth.
I don't remember that scene.
When there's all the hands, there's the big tunnel of hands.
I mean, I could have figured that, but I don't remember it.
They turn into little hand puppets to talk to the character.
And the hands are giggling with the same voice as the schoolgirls. And the twins sort of look at this and then just keep going. And Kokona doesn't understand why they would do that. They're Yayaka's friends, right? And Yayaka, once again, says Kokona's really naive.
And says that we're, something like I said, we're not like you.
And then the bell starts to chime. And Papika just dives into the bed of hands, calling Kokona's name.
She does not fly into the bed of hands.
No.
She just sort of belly flops into the bed of hands.
And you see like a flash of light, and then see that she has grabbed Kokona and Yayaka, and is flying up towards the top of the tower with her, like, barrier.
Yayaka is very clearly confused about why Papika would save her.
The girl can shoot bullets with her hand and tries to shoot them down.
Because she's just cool like that.
Yeah, she's really cool. But they bounce off Papika's barrier.
She also stopped that fucking weight with her one hand.
Yeah.
God, she's cool.
They get, like, near the top of the tower, but then they clearly reach the apex of their leap, and they start to fall down. And they all panic. I think Yayaka asks if Papika ran out of gas. And Papika just sort of holds Kokona up like an item in a Zelda game. And just fucking yeets her.
Yep.
She can't throw her very far because Kokona is a almost fully grown girl.
Except, okay, but Papika is also a superhero.
Yeah. Listen, her power is barrier, not yeet.
I can't wait for pure yeet to be introduced to the show. This is my Flip Flappers OC, pure yeet.
Kokona falls down and bounces off, like, one of the bubbles that Papika left behind as she was flying. And then she bounces up again, and she holds up her stick, and frustratingly cries, "Come on, flip-flapping!" And she transforms.
Yeah.
And it's still a bad animation, but she transforms. And she flies toward the bell, and summons a giant hammer, as everyone is like, "Oh no, it's near the last chime." And Coconut smashes the bell, and it finally chimes 12.
Yep. Which is really fucking cool. Like, that's I love that. That's very clever and fun.
And then there's a glowing light at the top of the clock tower, and we see a shard fall down gently into Coconut's hands. And then the clock tower begins to crumble and fall apart.
Yep.
And Yayaka tells the twins to open a portal back, and they do.
If you have a clock tower in a thing,
it doesn't fall apart?
Yeah, especially in anime.
Yeah.
Or any kind of animation.
Yeah.
Because I think there was also a falling clock tower in fucking The Great Mouse Detective.
There's a falling clock tower in Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
Castle of Cagliostro. Yeah. Coconut and Paprika try to open their own portal, but they can't for some reason. And I say for some, it's probably like their impedance or something.
Yeah.
And Yayaka sort of stares at them for a moment, and then grabs them, and they all leave through their portal. And the world falls apart as we hear the schoolgirls just greetings to all, greetings to all, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
And then they emerge at the real school.
Yeah, they're
on the quad.
They're right on the quad. Yeah. And Coconut asks Yayaka why she saved them,
and Yayaka doesn't really answer that, and is just like, "You don't owe me anything," and then immediately says, "Give me the Amorphous. Give me the Amorphous. You don't owe me anything. Give me the Amorphous, though."
Amorphous? How about Amorphous, though? Silver crystal?
And Paprika steps in front of Coconut and is like, "No way."
Yeah, Paprika? Oh, no. Oh, Yayaka.
Yayaka says, "Don't be so daft. That shard isn't what you think it is, Coconut."
If you don't know how to control the power of the Amorphous, you slowly turn British. Why did she say that?
I don't know. And Coconut sort of stares at the shard, and then tells Yayaka, "No. Paprika and I found this together."
Yeah.
And then Yayaka asks if Coconut knows what she's doing.
And Coconut's like, "No.
But if you're up to something dangerous, I'll stop you." And then Yayaka walks away with the twins through a portal. And then it's the end of the episode.
Yeah. Next
time, pure...
Greetings to all!
Play!
Greetings to all!
Yeah! I want to be a voice actor. Anyway, so, before I talk about what the fuck this episode means...
Well, can I...
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you think of it?
I also want to see if I can figure out part of what it means.
Okay.
But as an episode, first of all, just in pure entertainment factor, I really like it. It's very creepy and fun, and I like the double subversion of, like, it's like, oh no, there's some scary ghost girls. And then it's like, oh no, they're fine. They're cool. They're chill. And then it's like, maybe they're a little iffier than we thought, actually. And I like the stuff with Yayaka that plays into the overall sort of conflict of the characters. Of, like, Paprika just, like, without a second thought saving Yayaka, even though she hates her. And then Yayaka returning the favor when they can't open their portal while the clock tower's crumbling.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And also we now have sort of a established system for how they transform.
Yeah.
I guess the fucking potato was just a treasure.
Yeah.
For both of them. They treasured that moment. I also like that Coconut's treasure is a stick that was given to her by Paprika. That's very cute. And Paprika's treasure is just a shell thing because she likes it. But yeah, the characters are adorable in this episode, and it's very fun and very creepy and eerie. And I love a fucking loop. I fucking love a time loop.
Yeah.
I fucking love this Russian doll ass episode of Flip Flappers.
Can we just stop calling everything a Groundhog Day loop and from now on call it a Russian doll loop?
Yeah. Fucking, yeah.
Fuck Bill Murray.
Fuck Bill Murray, but Natasha Lyonne.
That's pretty cool.
Leon?
Leon. Yeah.
Okay. She's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Russian Doll is better than Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day is not a bad film, but Bill Murray can eat my shorts. So yeah, I love a time loop. I love creepy schoolgirls.
Mm-hmm.
I love creepy sketch-faced ghosts.
Uh-huh.
I love a giant blank field of rain with one large distinguishing feature, which is a giant clock tower.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you stay out in there too long, you eventually start bleeding to death.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know.
Yeah.
And all, like I said, all the stuff with Yaika and the fucking hand girl. I don't know what Boy does. I don't know what his thing is.
He has the portals.
He has the portals, okay. He's a very support character.
In the opening, there's one shot of him just sort of in the air, just sort of rotating, and bullets coming out of him. I think that's him. It might be a different character.
It's such a fast rotation and such a short shot that it's hard to tell who it is. But, okay, yeah.
I completely forget what he actually does. I mean, I know what he does, I just don't know what he does.
I feel like he might just be the Boo.
He might be the Boo of Yayaka and, Girl.
I love that, also, just Boy and Girl, if I can compare things to other Netflix shit, it's just a fucking Bird Box for us right now.
What? How?
From Bird Box, you know. You didn't see Bird Box, though.
No.
There's there's two characters, there's a little boy and girl, and
right.
the main character doesn't give them names, so she just calls them Boy and Girl.
Right, you told me about this.
Yeah. What's it about? I'm trying to... At first I thought it was gonna be, like, a narrative about, like, oh, it's, you know, this seems scary, but it's not. Mm-hmm. It's more than meets the eye. Ba 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 ba. Like the Transformers?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
You know how the theme of Transformers goes ba 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 ba. I'm loving it.
Yeah. My favorite Transformer, the Grimace.
Grimace. You know, he's the dinosaur one, right? Like he just says his own name. Me Grimace.
Yep, that's him.
I don't know what the fuck this episode is about.
Okay, you want me to get into it?
Yeah, I feel like maybe there's some context, referential context that I'm missing.
Are you ready for me to start the lecture?
Start your first lecture of.
You ready for us to finally
have a class?
Have a class. Do good by our name.
We are very late to school. We're like 19 some episodes late.
Yeah.
No, that's not an accurate number. I forgot how many episodes we've gone through. What's up?
So,
Teach?
Before I talk about the themes of the episode itself, I need to explain the Class S genre.
Okay.
Class S is a, now...
That's a really dangerous type of SCP, right? Like
it is
it's like above Peter or something?
Yeah. It's a now legally dead genre of media.
Wait, how's that?
Japanese media. I think mostly literature.
Okay.
That is about, or was about, young schoolgirls who have very close friendships that border on romantic, but are not romantic, and are chaste, not sexual in any way.
Okay.
They tend to be between a younger schoolgirl and her senpai.
Okay.
The genre is thought to have been inspired by the Takarazuka Revue, which is an all-female theater troupe that do musicals.
Huh.
And, of course, since it's all-female, the women play male characters.
Right, okay.
And this is very attractive to a lot of girls.
Right, of course.
It was also in part inspired by the sort of importing of Western media. Like two big examples are Little Women and a little Lily Princess. No, I don't think Lily is in the actual title.
The Little Mermaid.
A Little Princess or something like that.
Okay. What is that? Because I've heard of Pretty Woman.
It is a Little Princess is it's a book about a girl who goes to a private school and is surrounded by other girls and has very close relationships with them bordering on friendship.
Okay. Bordering on friendship.
Bordering on romance.
That's not a very close relationship if it borders on friendship.
And basically, the hallmarks of the genre were that. Okay. And it also had a sort of core ideology about these relationships.
Okay.
Which is that they were basically training wheels for heterosexual relationships in adulthood.
Oh.
It is basically a whole genre about lesbians being a phase.
Okay.
That gets kind of complicated because a lot of the big, figures in the genre were lesbians themselves.
Okay.
But the tropes still tend to happen in their work uncritically.
Okay.
Which paints a very bad picture.
Yeah.
And basically the idea is, it's fine for girls to have these relationships when they're in school. If they keep having these relationships when they leave school, that's immature.
Okay.
And I want to say, obviously, this is not a thing that is limited to this genre or Japan. This trope exists in Western literature.
Mm-hmm.
In Western literature, it tends to be more sexual. The schoolgirl getting together with her teacher.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we do it worse in the West.
Kind of, yeah. And Class S was outlawed in 1936.
Really?
Not for great reasons. I'm not fully...
I feel like any time a genre gets outlawed, that it's generally probably not for great reasons.
Yeah, I'm not clear on the exact reasons, but it was outlawed. And a lot of the, sort of hallmarks, a lot of the, visual tropes, or not visual because it was mostly literature, but the aesthetic tropes would make it into the Yuri genre.
Okay.
And so...
So, wait, how do they legally outlaw a genre? If you just can't... what is to prevent you from just writing something that is basically a Class S story?
So the thing is nothing. Because people still do it now.
Okay.
They just can't call it Class S. I'm not clear on the law. Maybe it's more complicated than I think it is.
Okay.
But Class S still happens in Yuri. There is still Yuri that is very much under the impression that, these girls are not lesbians. They're just, they're in school and they're surrounded by other girls. So, another important thing about Class S I didn't mention is that it tends to be, very high-class private schools.
Okay.
And so, we get to this episode of Flip Flappers.
Uh-huh.
Where Kokona and Papika enter a high-class private school.
Yes.
Where...
Covered in lilies,
where they go through their days having interactions that border on romantic, are very romantic if you're looking at them closely enough, but that are non-committal enough that there's some degree of deniability.
Okay.
They sleep in the same bed, but they only hold hands. They don't cuddle.
Right.
I think
Papika sucks on
the finger sucking is a little more sexual than it tends to be. But, and so where do I want to start with this? I think a good place to start is when they leave the school for the first time.
Okay.
They die, basically.
Right.
So they're leaving together. And they die. Which is very much a reflection of the idea that if you leave school and you still have romantic relationships with other women, you're immature and not ready for adulthood.
Okay.
We also have the fact that they're stuck in a loop, which is, again, you can't leave. Kokona and Papika can stay together, but they have to stay here.
Right.
And I think the ways in which Papika is immediately I'm having fun here. This is good. Right. I don't care about the shard. But Kokona is a little hesitant. Tells us a lot about their characters.
Yes. Because Papika's really, overall, really childish. But Kokona is, a lot of her core conflict is about trying to grow up.
Yes. I want to be clear that I don't think this episode is Class S. I think this episode is critical of the Class S genre.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
It isn't saying Paprika and Kokona shouldn't leave the school or else they'll die.
Right.
It's saying the fact that they die when they leave the school is fucked up.
Uh-huh.
And, like, the clock can't strike midnight, but they leave by forcing it to.
Mm-hmm.
They leave by saying, hey, no, we're going to leave together, and if you want to stop us, we're going to hit you with a big hammer.
And that also destroys everything around them.
It destroys the entire framework of this idea.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like taking... It's not just like a loop story.
Mm-hmm.
It is a loop story that is also a kind of Class S story that is trying to deconstruct the Class S, like, metaphors and tropes.
Mm-hmm. I think it also tells us a lot about what Kokona is thinking right now.
Yeah.
She is getting closer to Paprika, and she's a young girl who is starting to feel attraction toward another young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be very confusing.
Yeah.
And it can be, I think Kokona is in part keeping herself in this world. Because, like Yayaka says, she's afraid of failure. I think Kokona is afraid that if she tries to take her relationship with Paprika beyond just chaste holding hands,
right,
it might fall apart.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool thing to have a story be about.
Mm-hmm. If you want to read a more nuanced and well-written take on this episode, I recommend reading Alex Henderson's piece on Anime Feminist, titled Escape from Yuri Hell, Flip-Flapper's Critique of the Class S Genre.
Okay.
I also recommend Jacob Chapman's episode summaries on Anime List, I think?
Okay. We can link these in the description.
Yeah, right? And the Josei Next Door's episode summaries on, I think, her own blog.
Okay.
But yeah, that's this episode.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting, especially, like, it does feel like I'm enjoying the show, and it's obviously really good and well thought out and stuff, for the most part. I feel like I'm missing a lot of...
This episode is the easiest to miss stuff in, because it relies on knowledge of a dead genre and tropes. We will get episodes, next time, basically, that I think are just as interesting, but don't require that knowledge.
Okay. But also, I feel like I'm slacking on the sort of visual analysis, because you've pointed out so many, like, optical illusions and stuff in the show.
Yeah, those optical illusions in the first episode are fun, but I don't know if they mean anything important.
Okay. Well, I have to imagine the girl in the boat has appeared multiple times. Yeah. I assume she's relevant to the plot somehow. But yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of plot relevance to her being also an old lady. Mm-hmm. But I am... Oh, you know what? This is a complete tangent. I forgot. I completely lost my train of thought, but I'm going in a different direction now.
Okay.
No senpai in this episode.
No senpai. She is in the next episode, as we see.
I'm glad for that. Because I want to know more about this character. Also, I want these characters to have names.
Yeah. God, I can't even remember when we learned the twins' names. Because I know them, but I don't know how I know them.
I'm fine with just calling them boy and girl.
Yeah.
Purple pants, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really interesting to me to... I think, like, learning about that stuff is fine also in just, like, an post-watch scenario. I don't know if anything I'm saying makes any sense. Things don't have to... Like, things about media don't have to be meaningful just because you notice them while actually watching them.
Right.
Like, that's...
I don't think I knew any of this stuff when I first watched these episodes.
Really? Okay. I knew about the Class S genre?
I knew about the Class S genre, but I did not know that this episode was deconstructing it.
Okay. And, like, I've mentioned stuff about, like, fucking Pacific Rim. Not on the podcast, because it's not an anime. I mean, it's almost an anime. Just, like, the visual stuff in Pacific Rim, like, I never noticed half that shit in the first thing, but other people have pointed it out to me, and I'm like, oh, cool. I don't know what sort of point I'm trying to make there. Just
I get it.
Do you see a point?
Yeah.
What's my point?
Media analysis can still be worth it. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not the one connecting the dots.
Right, okay. And meaningful to you. To the individual person, too. Because, now I know shit about it. I learned. We did a class. Mm-hmm. You have been teaching me stuff through the entire podcast, in fairness, but...
Yeah, but I haven't had, okay, sit down, I'm gonna tell you about the history of...
Fucking listen up, motherfuckers.
Oh, God, no. If I ever become that person, shoot me in the face.
Will do.
I assume you have no further thoughts?
I guess I have no further thoughts. The lilies is fun.
Yeah.
That's just fun. Mm-hmm. I like that Boo gets corrupted. In practically every word. He seems more vulnerable to pure illusion than anyone else does. Yeah. Because he gets wrapped up in shit all the time. Mm-hmm. And just...
Literally in this episode.
Yeah. In himself. Mm-hmm. Also, we didn't mention the doll closing its eyes.
Oh, yeah,
There's a shot when they leave through the portal. There's a shot of the doll, and it, closes its eyes before the world, crumbles. Mm-hmm. Which is creepy, because we don't know... We haven't seen any other sort of movement from the doll.
Yeah.
There's the suggestion of movement, but then that was implied to be part of the time loop. Mm-hmm. So, was it watching them the whole time?
Yeah, who knows?
Is it sentient? What's that doll?
Sister Maria watches over us.
But we'll never know, because this is a unique, pure illusion that we will probably not get to visit again.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because it seems like, so far, we've never revisited a version of pure illusion. Mm-hmm. So, I still don't know what the fuck is going on, but that's, I've come to terms with that. Uh-huh. Yuskiel will die if you use him as a transformation pen, though.
Yeah, you can't.
Which is a shame.
Cannot transform with Yuskiel.
How great would it fucking be, though, if they could?
Yeah. So, as always, thanks for listening. You can find me at Lorena27 on Twitter.
And you can meet
you at a Denny's behind the parking lot.
For a fight. You can find me at FryLord Zarek on Twitter.
And you can find
I do use my Twitter, yes. But I don't,
Yeah. And you can find the show at late_school.
That's the most important one. And music. Greetings to all.
Greetings to all. Together.
We.
Flip.
Greetings to all.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that.
きっと約束だよいつかまた同じ笑顔で今すぐまっすぐ君のこと探したいけど君が残したひとかけらの勇気で歩き出せる踏み出せるもう迷わないからどんな道だって振り向かずに進める一人だって覚えていますか君と見た色づいた世界をモノクロの日にやっと見つけたよ二人なら塗り替えれるよほら
So the episode starts.
Uh-huh.
With...
Are you going to say the name of the episode? Or...
Oh, you're right. Delete that. Cut that. Delete all of it.